everyone, and welcome to another episode of Connections. Connections is our classical crossover magazine videocast where we get to learn more about classical crossover performers and also other performers who have maybe crossed paths with them from different genres. Today, I'm very excited to share an interview with the lovely Lola G.
Hi, Lola.
Hi, Natasha. How are you?
I'm good. How about you? It looks like it's evening there. You've had a nice evening of practice. Is that right?
Yes, I'm in the middle of my practice, and it's a real delight to connect and to hear you, and to see you in person. Yes, thanks for the invite.
Yeah, absolutely. It's lovely to chat with you and see you. Obviously, we featured Lola on the collaboration concert we did with the wonderful Janny. You did a beautiful version of We'll Meet Again. It was meant to be Casta Diva, but I got the wrong video there, so that's on me. But what are you practicing tonight?
Actually, I was doing some vocalizing as a warm up. It's always a good idea, and it's like a stretch, like a voice gym. And then I was doing because I want to get them in my body and memorize them and get, because there are like 14 new songs, and some of them they will be like on the shelf, and other ones are more recent material. So I just want to make sure that everything is embodied, so to speak.
So you kind of just a little. You said these are all original songs that you're working on.
Yeah.
The 14. Amazing.
Yes, I'm a soprano. However, it's a real pleasure to be writing my own songs, because I'm bringing something of myself, and I'm always aim to, bring a bit of my heart and soul into each of the songs. So it's very personal to me, and the first album was, like, I call it my baby number 3.
So we'll talk a little bit of your career in a second, but since you were talking about practicing, let's kind of walk through that. So do you have like favorite warm-ups, or are you like someone that needs to stretch and do breathing?
Yeah,
And then tell us a little bit of your
yeah.
routine.
Well, I mean, to be honest, of course, it's very important that you are fully awake.
Yeah.
So I'm a late night bird, so I tend to wake up later when I can. Can afford it with two little ones, two little tornadoes. But I find that it's very important to feel that the body. That you can feel that you've already been awake and the body is fully awake. I mean, some people, I know they're doing like the gym, and but to be honest, at the moment, I just want to try and get awareness into my body. So if I do feel like I need to stretch out, but honestly, with the piano, I've got like a couple of. I'm very happy to show you, what I'm doing.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
So yeah, it's like simple exercises, and I start with like from my maestro in Italy. He has helped me so much, to understand my voice and my instrument. So I would start with a very simple, sustaining the tone on just one note.
Okay.
And what's important is really just to find that it gets in the right place. And I accompany myself, or I listen to a recording. So the first one will be. Just watching that everything is very loose, and I will come up probably to above passaggio, depending on the day. So I'm making sure that everything is very smooth, and of course, as you come up, that you've got to give more. The breathing, it's like when you come up in an area in the higher notes, there's more emotion. So of course, when you come up to higher notes, the breathing is slightly more. It's even sort of more, well, you've got to feel it. And that is on one note where you start really quietly, pianissimo. And when I've done that, I would go to the semitone. So again, starting on A, below middle C. And once I've done that, I go to the tone. So that would be a more happier vibe because it's a tone. So if I continue, it would be.
Those are some of.
So there's a few intervals. Eventually, I could go. Going all the way to the top notes, of course, slowly. If I feel that I maybe have a little bit of a cold, I wouldn't go so much higher. I would just focus on the middle of the voice. So every day it's just being getting in tune with what the body is doing. But I do find that vocalizing and singing in general helps with when I've got a cold, for example, or it's incredible, it's like it actually, because probably it clears, it helps to, move the mucus, and it helps just to clear up. And I do find that, if I've got a bit of a cold, it's absolutely singing is a must, like, so, and then of course, I've got, as everybody, some maybe neck tension, lower back. So I am trying to do every day a bit of like planks, a little bit. Not really a sort of gym fanatic. So
I feel you there.
yeah, exactly. But it's just a little bit of planking and and stretching and and sort of I get my kids to give me some foot massage when they
Nice.
some reflexology in the moment where we can't actually get out from the house, and so we've got to sort of help ourselves.
Yes.
But I think as singers we are used to that, because you've got to always check in with yourself and be aware of what you're eating, and how you're breathing, and all those things that become natural. I'm sure, as well as for yourself as well, being aware. The whole lifestyle and singing is I think goes hand in hand. Like,
Yeah.
you need to watch what you eat, and it doesn't mean that you don't drink, or some singers smoke, but I guess you're more in tune because your body is your instrument. So you want to you want to give it the most love and attention you can.
Absolutely. And I just gotta say, those are some of the most beautiful warm-ups. I've heard a lot of warm-ups. Those are gorgeous. You had the way you're doing the fabulous piano with it. Mine are like the chord. That was beautiful.
It's very quiet, like, it's so nice about it. It's just really gentle.
Yeah.
But of course, once you go to the top of the range, naturally you're taking a quicker, bigger breath, and the emotion is bigger. So you are obviously, you're not doing like pianissimo on top. But it's the question is about that. It's always like massaging of the voice, and I want to mention this from Danilo Rigosa, who is, the credits to him. These are his exercises, and he's a fantastic teacher who has been absolutely instrumental in helping Vittorio Grigolo. You are
Wonderful.
know is a tenor who's done The Voice in Italy, and he's done La Scala and best opera houses. But yeah, so he's a voice coach of Vittorio, and I really had the pleasure to spend time and to be able to be to discover my own technique through his guidance, and I'm always happy like to go back, and because it's singing is a never ending process.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's fantastic because it's something for life, it's our and music as well. It's something that we are very blessed, because it's something that there is no end point, there is no end goal. It's a journey. And I'm very happy. My journey started with piano lessons when I was a little girl, but I always at some point I was longing to sing. And so the singing pulled me. It's something that that's in my heart and in my soul. And then of course I started writing my own songs, which is extremely it's extremely rewarding, then liberating in a way as well. um, so um,
So when you were you started with piano lessons, yeah, which is
yeah,
great, by the way, because it gives you that foundation. I know a lot of
yeah,
people, like the kids, when I teach lessons, they didn't want to learn theory, but you
I
really
know.
need to know that stuff to give you.
Yeah.
But then when was it? So did you kind of sing along with your?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I was doing piano. I got a like full scholarship to come to a private boarding school, personal school in London, and the teacher. I was doing the Scrabble and stuff, and I would sing along, to it. And this teacher said, "Oh, there is even a report where they wrote somebody. There is a frustrated singer in there." I'm like, okay. And I was about 15. But I think, in any case, with singing, it's good to start later. It's not like, you're in a rush. But it's definitely after I did my final piano recital, like, really complicated stuff like pictures at exhibition. I was like, that's it. I know this is my final concert, because I can't see myself, doing piano. I want to sing, So it was nice. I finished that, and I finished on a high, but of course the piano is a great foundation. I would say to the kids that it takes so much practice.
Yeah.
So it is a lot of patience. And I guess, as I'm seeing with my own kids, it's like, I mean, you have got to push them, because it's better to push them and to insist, rather than look back and they will tell you, why didn't you, pass on, the knowledge.
Yeah.
But it is a lot of patience on behalf of teacher, or teacher parent, and of course the pupil. And I always find it's ironic when people say, oh, I'd love to learn piano, and they expect once with a one lesson a week, to to
Yeah.
excel, where whether it is piano or voice, it's just so many hours of figuring out the position and preparation, and just learning the all the things, like the theoretical stuff, but it's connecting all those things. And it always amazes me when you come across Instagram ad which tells you, learn piano with 5 minutes a day practice. It's like, no, no thanks. I know is no way.
Yeah.
Singing is even more difficult. I mean, because with piano you can actually see, and you can touch it, and you can feel your hand on the piano, and you can feel the shoulder relaxed and the wrist relaxed. But all the things that we have to find, that are doing, and out of the way, or on oppositely engaged, we can't
Yeah.
see. It's all here. So when the singers say, use your diaphragm, when you can in the right way, what does it mean? Use the support, appoggio, appoggio, in Italian. So it's very difficult singing, I find. So I mean, I'm doing a bit of teaching, and I find that, to be honest, I am now I'm aware of singing, but I can say that I'm still prefer, like with piano, I can be very, precise, and I can see things. And with singing, it's more complex, and especially if it's via Zoom, and just generally, it's just it's what it is. It's like it's such a also because it's very delicate. It's about a person's soul. So when you are teaching someone, or if you are taught by someone, they've got to recognize that in you, and they have to help you come out with your voice technically correct, and still nurture your soul can then, because it is a act of that that in the end that you elevate, you let your soul into your emotions, into whatever that you're doing, whether it's an aria or a song, or, so it's, you've got to, not like a machine, not like a technical, but you've got to bring your soul into it. So a teacher must never, find, never bruise that, must always find a way to a good teacher, find a way to help with technique, but also help that the artist, comes out, and his individual self, and his anima, his heart is there, with him. So that's complicated. I think with piano is easier, definitely. It's also very intricate work, especially, like, you can see it's hours and hours. But it's just purely, having the instrument there, in front of you, and being able to demonstrate, easier. So yeah, but it's daytime, so the sun is shining in New York, is it?
Yes, I'm sorry, my little dog just started barking there. But
Oh,
yeah, it's
what's
still, it's like 12 p.m. here, so yeah.
yeah.
So tell us, the way that you were describing that, it sounds like maybe, you've learned these lessons, but maybe you had a teacher that didn't necessarily encourage you at one point. Did you kind of go have someone that got you right away, or did you kind of have to struggle to find
Oh,
someone?
yeah. Unfortunately, it does happen that sometimes you can find a singer that is just, you're fortunate, that will, really help you in the scope of 4 or 5 years, 6 years. And for me, it was a journey. I mean, literally, I had some like a second instrument voice lessons, and I ended up getting a place as like postgraduate opera course at the Royal Academy. And the first year was really tough. I mean, I have not. Um, I found that it was more counterproductive, than helpful. So by the end of that year, I was really confused. I didn't know what I was doing. I was doing opera scenes, but I was like, no clue, how to sing, really, just trying, and it's desperate, to be honest. And then it really kind of, I was like quite low and depressed. And I said, well, I'm not, and I was, in a way, it was great, because I was, on a way of sorting out, and having my British passport. So that was really good, because for artists it's very important. And I was grateful, like, that I was, I got some scholarships, and so, but as far as singing, I was not, like, I didn't really, have a clue. And what really helped me to get out of this really, like, low state, it was going to Italy, because there was a head of opera, a former head of opera, who every year organized these trips for 2 weeks, 2 magical weeks, to the coast of Cinque Terre. It's 5 villages in Liguria, and it's so beautiful, such beautiful place. And so he would get a bunch of postgraduate students, and we would work with like Italian coach, and also work with him on the musical side, and would put little opera scenes in the piazzas, in a squares, in a different side. So yeah, that was really magical, and it just like really lifted me, up. And for the second year, I chose another teacher at the academy, who basically, it was right. It didn't teach me, but at least it didn't do any damage. It was like, that was good. Like, but then, okay, I did the final recital with some complicated pieces, but I sort of did still doing 3 jobs on the side, but it was good. But then the process started of finding the actual to see my teacher, and I have seen literally everyone in London, like the top, and it's just, I don't have to tell you, the lessons are very expensive. And I was already like, with grants and loans and everything, I was like very cautious. But then actually going to performance of Vittorio Grigolo and seeing him, then meeting him backstage, and he's a really lovely, very, very nice guy. And it was the time when I just wrote my first song, and it was a duet. It was a memory of my dad, actually, because he passed away many years ago with a heart attack. And I just, somehow, it was a duet that I felt like it was dedicated to him, for him. And I shared it with Vittorio, and he said, before anything, you've got to go to my maestro. You've got to sort out like your, your voice. So and so he has sent me to Danilo Rigosa, and I have to say that was life changing. Because all these ideas of singing operas around. He has just and what was really great is that I recorded this the sessions, but he always said, I don't believe like in umbilical cords. You listen, you come, like we would have 5 sessions, and then I'd go back home and I would work on myself. So he'd say, I'll give you that, like you just listen, you're careful, I'm telling you what you've got to do, then go back and sort like you do it, and that was really great, because so with him and like myself, so it was like a process of coming back home and then listening and figuring out, like basically figuring out myself. And I'm very happy because I know it's just so important, and I know that it was really great because Danilo was in a rock band, but he's
wow,
got this incredible, actually famous rock band, is it? But then he's did this incredible, like he's got a he was the staging, like working as a stage director at some point, and somebody heard his voice and said, "Oh, you've got to sing," because he's this beautiful bass baritone. So I think he just like out of he discovered that he had this big luscious voice. So but basically what was nice is that because he had also that background, he would really appreciate my songwriting. So like not songwriting, he encouraged me. So he said, you're working on your voice, but oh wow, this is great what you're doing. So keep writing, keep writing more songs. And so the first album that I recorded was in his studio. We never released it because it was beautiful songs, but and I've got them on my website. I did decide not to release because I still had to learn about songwriting. It was all new to me, and they were more like improvisations, with beautiful melodies, but not structured as much. But they were incredible foundation for the Undreamed Dreams album, which is which has been a labor of love, and something that I've sort of recorded and created between having my real babies. So it was a very creative time. And I hope now to record, as I was mentioning also to Jenny, that the song called Prayer, now looking into doing a beautiful video, with a very, very talented photographer slash videographer. I don't know what to call him.
That's awesome. So how do you kind of come up with your video ideas? Do you already have it in mind what you want, or is it kind of like you just pick the scenery and you allow it to happen?
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on the song, and also if you are working with someone, it's a two-way process. So it's quite nice to, it's quite nice to just connect and see what. I think I love to work with people. First of all, you need to have the connection, and of course. Above all, the positivity, because the positive, and then it's good to have a discussion. It's good to have like of course I've got my ideas and visions, so it's just a question of seeing how much is possible, because if I'm visualizing myself walking out from the ocean in like, and just in like warm, not Atlantic, not like the beach, not in Brighton beach, but so we have to see how realistic is that, and how he can maybe create it without actually going to Bora Bora, so that's like so I would say I would with the prayer I've got some ideas, and I probably would write like some like a script, some, but I want to hear, because the guy that I've got in mind is so super experienced and great, that I'd love to hear his ideas. So far, I mean, he's very enthusiastic about the song, about its visual impact, that it can have a really great, like, for the video, great material for the video. So so I think I would love to hear what ideas he has, and also to use local sources, because we've got obviously beautiful streets and parks and whatever we can come up with locally. But I think a lot can be done now with as I say, with the edits, which I'm not very technical. So, I'm just already miracle I'm on Zoom with you, and teaching on Zoom was great. But initially I was like, oh my God, where do I press it? But yeah, so it's, and of course, the new songs, I need a hand in, as well as arrangements. I want to get on with some arrangements, and to see, because there are some personal songs, very personal songs to me. And 2019 has been really tough year, and I was so looking forward to 2020. And But it's just, it sucked. It turned out
Yeah.
turned out as bad. But 2019, yeah, was really really sad. And I had to witness my mom, passing away. So I wrote a song for her. So I really would love to arrange that, because it's very, it's very dreamy, and it's visual, but I think it would come to life with some strings, violins, and of course, I also, wrote a couple of more melancholic songs, and a couple of more like love songs and happy songs, and also song for my kids, which is nice. Always, cheer me up, my
Yes.
sunshines. And so I'd love to maybe the next album will be also like, something like a personal story. I mean, Undreamt Dreams is also very personal, but I guess every album, in a way, you bring your person. But I guess some songs are, the starting point for writing them, maybe personal event. While with Undreamt Dreams, some of the songs were a poem that I loved, not necessarily something that I experienced or that was going through. So yeah, it's different every time. And of course, when I have a chance, when I've got opportunity, I'm always happy to do a classical concert. I work occasionally with Samson Tsoi. He goes to New York to perform. Actually, he was in Carnegie.
Okay.
So he's a really great concert pianist. And at one concert, after one concert, we didn't know each other. He said, "Why don't we do some Russian repertoire?" And I was like, "Yeah." First of all, because he is absolutely fantastic musician, beautiful artist, and secondly, because I absolutely adore Russian romances, and like Tchaikovsky, Rachmaninoff. It's like a balsam for the soul.
Yeah.
But of course, when I do classical, and it's a soprano stuff. When I do my songs, it's more towards crossover pop, and that's how I met Jenny. Because a wonderful friend in New York, Kenneth,
Yes.
he recommended, and he said, "Why don't you get in touch with my friend Jenny?" I said, "Oh, wonderful." And I thought Jenny was in America. Turned out she was in Rex, like in the north,
Wales, yeah.
close to Wales. So yeah, and it's so nice, because she's such a fantastic and positive person, and it's nice to be supported by someone who does it for the love and for the joy of music and supporting the artists. I can see the passion that you share yourself, also being a musician. It just makes all the difference, especially now, when things are just it's so difficult, it's so
Yeah.
tough, with all the gigs and tours and concerts being on hold or postponed. It's frustrating, to be honest. But we'll hang in there, and that's why it's nice to to communicate and to share, and to help each other, support each other through these times.
Yeah, no, she's been done such a great job, Jenny, with her show.
Yeah.
So let's go back then. When you started writing, how does that work? Do you think about like you start singing the melodies first, or do you hear them on the
Well, my
piano
first
first?
song, the one that I did for my dad, it was a melody that came to my mind, and it was. And then I just put the simple. went. Were all born little melodies that came to me. I don't even know if it's in a dream or in a sleep, and then it grew, and the lyrics were absolutely above my, for my dad, because, and I tell you the little story behind it, because time's flown, years gone. So I saw my dad in my dreams, and like years after it passed, but it was as fresh as sitting close to you and seeing him and his face. If you ask me to describe him, I would have difficulty, but in that dream it was like just no time existing. And so the words that of this duet, that I subsequently also did with Danilo, because he did the male, and I'd love to come back to this. It was about the time, about the fact that no matter how much time passes, the people you love, in my experience, like when I saw my dad, it's like 10 years passed, maybe more, and then occasionally, maybe sometimes he comes to me in my dreams, and it's unbelievable. It's like everything is like the time is not passed, that he's not gone. It's like I can see his face and features and his energy and everything, and he talks to me like we are talking now. So in the lyrics of this song is like the time flown, years gone, but we are here, like we are. So I'm happy to send you the link maybe at some point, and you can hear it.
I'm already tearing up. It's beautiful.
Yeah, so that's my first song, and I guess that's a starting one. I actually had a chance to share it with a friend in New York, because I was visiting New York. I mean, I wrote it years ago, and that's the lady. That lady, she's a mezzo soprano, and she also was, interestingly, she did opera, but she was also in some rock band and stuff. But anyway, so she said to me, oh, you've got to keep writing, it's beautiful. And then I basically went to flowing, the rain keeps tumbling down, falling, the leaves are turning brown. No, I'm gonna get in. So that's a London Rain. That's a song, London Rain. And so it went and went and went. And before I knew it was 10 songs. And to answer your question, the first songs, it's almost like had a motive. And then I thought about London Rain, and then the lyrics came. But then there were other songs where I would come across a poem and I felt strong about the words. And then sort of I would
To write
think
something.
about what melody you would come. Yeah. So every song was born differently. And then usually it takes time. For me, it takes time. There was only one song. It's called "Born in the USSR," and that's like also very, like personal song. Because born in the country does not exist anymore. Where is your home? Where the roots? Where? So it's about reflecting, also about people who pass away. And you just it's about coming home to a place that is beyond any physical location. So that song I wrote sort of in one go, and that's the only song I wrote in one go. Other ones I would write. Sometimes I would write a melody or something like 4 or 8 bars, and I would leave it for several months. I would not come back. Then I'd come back and said, "You got to finish it now." And then sometimes like that, I've got to finish. So and then I'd finish the song. But this one, the one about Bonnie Susan, is somehow I had that inspiration, almost like it just, and the lyrics, everything sort of went very fast. Yeah, so it's like that. I know some songwriters like very quick, sit down and write, but it's not my case. But I guess I have also quite an unusual background, because I'm soprano, and I love I love singing the classical stuff. I love singing Berlin stuff, because the songs are so it's just so unbelievably, you can see that the legend, she's how much she has been lifting those all this mass of people, and this is such a positive,
Yeah.
that energy, when you hear her voice and you can see that she's been, absolutely the pivotal point, also in bringing people together to fight and to, to come, come forward and so that's quite incredible, to feel that power of the song and the voice, and that beyond any, we don't, beyond everything, and how it can lift people, and the positive impact, of that, as opposed to, all the negativity, we have to deal with daily.
Yeah.
um, so, and that's why, I love all kinds of music, because you can put a YouTube track and it's just so awesome. But I guess not so much, Metallica or Lady Gaga, but I do love like jazz, and when I see it like Natalie Cole, I mean, it's just so relaxing, and it's so beautiful. um, and it's, jazz musicians are so inspiring. Really good pop musicians are so amazing, just we can really learn from each other. I think it's, this being a classical singer, you want tend to be quite purist, but I think it's so important to work from that, from base, the foundation, but everything can feed into, into that. So, try to be open-minded is important for me, is important, but of course, having classical base, it's almost like my, it will always be there.
Yeah.
So I guess I do maybe think on things, also structurally, improvisation does not come so easily to me, because I've, for many years been working more like with set structures, and certain,
Rules.
like if I look, but it's great to, when I write songs, I also love films, so it's quite nice for me to think, oh, I'd love to, have the, then do it, the video, and bring together different genres, like that's so nice to be able to bring together different art forms and make something special.
Oh yeah. I think it's, at least for me, like when I was younger, I was very much about the beauty of the voice, like the beauty. But I
Yeah,
think the older you get, you also understand and appreciate the artist for the emotion that they're putting into it. Even if they don't have the most beautiful instrument, but they
yeah.
have, just the emotion they bring to the song, and you just feel it, and it's incredible.
Absolutely. And sometimes, I tell you more, in my opinion, sometimes if you put a more beautiful voice to a particular song, it's not as beautiful,
Mm.
It's like, in Italian, there is a singer called Cocciante, or in, certain, sort of rough, when you take certain singers. I mean, one thing for sure, I mean, I do like to hear people sing in tune. That's
Yeah.
for sure. But, because that's because I guess sometimes it can be quite disorientating if things are out of tune. You start, because you're like a motor is working. It's like, oh,
Right.
it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to listen to. But otherwise, if they have a certain guttural, thing,
Mm.
especially like with the top, with a certain pop, singers, and you hear that song, and oh my God, that's so amazing, it's so awesome, and but I think that's the beauty of it. If you take Annie Lennox song, you love her voice with that. If you leave the angel, Sean Connery, maybe certain breathiness, that is so beautiful. If you take Phil Collins, his songs are so awesome just because his voice, or the U2, and they're all awesome artists with different voices. And Whitney Houston is absolute god, like of the
Yes.
soprano, like soprano of pop, the Nightingale, so if she wanted, she could do opera for sure if she wanted, um, but yeah, so that's a myriad of all that out there, that we are so fortunate that we are also able to listen, to learn from it, to be inspired, by all of these different voices. Also the one who sadly passed away, the British one. Oh my gosh, it's the tip of my tongue.
um Amy,
The
was it?
Amy Winehouse. Amy
Yes.
Wine. Yeah, she didn't have the most beautiful voice, but she had amazing artist, like artistry, and the things that the songs that we know her by, it's like her voice and only her voice, like,
Yeah.
and it's it's absolutely awesome. Just love it.
So tell us, once you'd written all the songs, who did you start working with on Undreamed Dreams to make it an
Undreamed
album?
Dreams. Had a real pleasure and fortune to have a friend in Italy to offer his studio. So that was, yeah, it was really amazing. And the musicians, Italian, they're both jazz and pop musicians I recorded with. They're all based in Marche, so it's Adriatic coast. And so I went to Italy, and the arrangements were done by one of the members of this band. And so it's been amazing to work in Italy and spend time, because it's just, it's so beautiful and the food is good, and
Yeah.
the climate is divine, so it's, yeah, so that's and of course it's a whole process, like again through a contact, had a really a great opportunity to master it at Abbey Road Studios. So yeah, so that's like, and the engineer there, he was working like on the Skyfall, movie, and working on, and he really enjoyed, and he loved my album. So that was a really big compliment, and so it was really special. So it's like so much effort went into it, and I'm just happy for opportunities to be able, to share it with as many people, and especially now, when I'm not able to like physically come out and promote it in my recitals.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to. I know you tried to send it to me. For some reason, I couldn't click the links. So I'm sure we'll catch base. I really want to hear it from what you've been playing today. It's absolutely stunning. So yeah, and everyone, it's available on your website. Is that correct?
Yes, I guess I'll send a link. It's www.lolagmusic.com,
Okay.
and I guess you go to the section shop. Yeah, so that it's possible to download it, or it's possible to get a physical copy. Hold on, let me show the beautiful cover.
Yes.
Since we are talking about the album, and so it looks like this.
Oh, lovely.
And it looks like that at the back, and it looks like this inside.
And you have a booklet also?
Yeah, like it's got a booklet with all the lyrics. The lyrics are in English.
Love it.
And I've got these photos were taken by Christy Goodwin. So it's got photos of Christy Goodwin, is a photographer who works at Royal Albert Hall, the official one in London, and she's also official photographer at Ed Sheeran. So it's after one of the gigs,
cool.
like I had, I had a fortune to, like to share. Actually, it was like a couple of songs, London Rain, and she again, I said to her, listen, I know, like I can't like afford you like anything, but she's so amazing because she just literally supported me, and did the photo shoot. And she's been very generous, like just accepting what I was able to give at the time. And she came to my like a little concert that I had to launch it, like the album. So it's so Christy Goodwin, thank you very much if you're watching. and she is so very sweet, because also with Ed Sheeran, she was like really, initially she would go to the gigs in the pub and she would do it like for free, because she's this kind of person, and so grateful for her support. And so that's, and the illustrations inside, the stuff you see, so it's just filled up, the stuff you see inside, that are this beautiful, sort of almost like an iconography and mystical stuff, is a friend of mine. He's a British Russian painter, artist. His name is Timur Dvats. He's mostly painting in Normandy now in France. And he is the first like artist to be from Russia, to be in the Royal Academy of Art in London. And he's exhibiting all around the world. So it's very beautiful. You can see that it's mystical. Some of them is a bit like iconography, but he's got this beautiful big canvases with very rich like oil paint. And he's done some cathedrals, he's has paintings in the Four Seasons in Moscow hotel. So he's got also. So he just said to me, "Take what you like
Oh
and
wow.
do with it." So yeah. So I was very very like happy to say, okay, I can put Timur's artwork because I know I can like relate to it in the sense that in my music has soulfulness, and dreaminess, and he also has this dream element in his paintings, in his artwork. So I thought that would be really like awesome to put it inside the album. So I could sign it, of course, and post it to anyone who would love to have a copy, and I could just like personalize it, and it would be my pleasure to yeah, as
So
many.
guys, you heard her. Please go and
Yeah.
support. Right now, as we all know, is not a great time for musicians. So the more we can actually buy their music, the best help it can be. And then do you offer lessons to the public as well, or?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And of course, now it's via Zoom. I've got a student from Miami who
Nice.
Zooms in twice a week. And in between the craziness of Google Classrooms, she said it's her escape and her hour of sanity and
Oh,
so. And for me, it's also really nice because this particular student started from scratch in a lockdown, like in the first lockdown, and now she's playing like Prelude C major Bach, and so it's very nice. But she put in a lot of hours. She's putting, and she's doing the G string, the Bach G string. So it's a pleasure, and I've got a couple of students as well via Zoom. I do find it works better with adults because to
attention,
already
yeah.
to teach or a pupil of like 10, 10 like 11, 12, 13.
Yeah.
But if you take a 6-year-old, it's a little bit, it's too much. It's already tricky to teach 5-year-old live. But with adults, I'm really actually I'm looking forward. So anyone would love to have sessions, piano sessions, or also to have a go with singing. I could share a lot of tips and things, and because my journey has been long and arduous, but it's been fruitful because I now know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
In my body, with my body, with my vocal cords, and so that means that I'm actually confident to share that knowledge, and would love to have the opportunity to share that. Everything that I've learned with Danilo, of course, also in academies, and as a pianist, I was at the Guildhall School of Music and Drama. It was an experience of also being immersed in. There's always symphony. I remember Jesse Norman came once, so listening to some beautiful, yes, live artists. Yeah. So it's really nice. So at the moment it's Zoom, via Zoom, but I do find that also with my pupil that it really people you can really get a lot through online lessons, a lot, and providing there's good internet connection, it's sometimes feels like you're there, there with a person. So it's definitely super opportunities there.
So guys, also voice lessons.
Yes.
You have had such an interesting life, and I know I'm gonna want to have you back on because I didn't even get to all my questions. But as we wrap up here, I just want to ask you about what's next. So you mentioned the songs you're writing, and you have a music video. So are you planning to release any
Video?
dates you can share with us?
Yeah. Yes. Yes, I've got a whole like folder of different music. The songs that I'm thinking with from Undreamed Dreams. I'm going to do a video of the song called Prayer. It's a song that the last one in the album. It's I think it's most like quite cinematographic, like you can do a beautiful video with it. And with these ones, as I said, with these new songs, there's a really personal journey. There is a song that I wrote for my daughter, and can play you a little bit if you like.
Yeah, let's exclusive.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Far away, oh, beautiful too. far away on you, for me will feel beautiful. You are my baby girl.
So gorgeous, gorgeous,
Thank
Lola.
you.
And you just sing like nothing. You don't have to get nervous. That was so beautiful.
Well, I went in with emotion and then I got a couple of words that went out, but I just thought, never mind, I'll just do and I go with, with the next phrase. And yeah, I must say that it's a pleasure to just be able to sing and to share this. And I haven't arranged it yet, so I'm looking forward to this one is called Angelica. So it's,
So
yeah, it's
beautiful.
for Angelica.
Well,
Thank
thank
you.
you so much, Lola. I know the listeners are going to hear that. They're going to be just blown away that you've done all this live singing for us in addition to the questions. It's been so wonderful. Everyone, again, she has her album and she has the lesson. So please go support Lola, like her on social media. You're on everything, right? Twitter, Instagram. Yes.
Yes. I am. I'm basically just trying to do a little bit every day, and posting. And for some reason, Facebook, we had that issue on my website was marked as spam or something. So I'm trying to resolve it, but my website is working. So I've been clearing and trying to. So like, I hope just to resolve this thing with Facebook, because the Facebook works, but it's just the website for some reason is not accepted. But thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure on Sunday afternoon for me. I couldn't just imagine a more pleasant way. And thank you to everyone listening in, and lots of love, and stay well, stay safe, and enjoy music that will always lifts us from any negative vibes, so that's the beauty of it. And the singing as well. I always find that once I do my session, I always feel just so much better.
Yeah.
You know the
True.
feeling.
Yep.
Yeah. It's just better than any remedy.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Lola.
All right, lots of love, and I'm looking forward also to checking out your yes, your stuff as well.
Oh,
So thanks again, and have a really really good evening, or rather afternoon, for you.
yes.
Afternoon, evening. Yes.
Bye.
Ciao. Bye, Natasha. Grazie. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. It was absolutely lovely to speak with Lola. She was so inspirational, and the performances were such a added bonus. I hope you guys were as touched as I was. It was so beautiful. If you haven't already, as we mentioned during the episode, definitely go ahead and check out that album. Order it if you can. Support, like her on social media. We have another great episode planned for you next week, so please plan to tune back in at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we also have a concert coming up that we teased before, so check out the details. We're very excited to be joining forces with the Classical Crossover Community Group on Facebook, also the Songbirds live streaming group, and Janny's Classical Crossover For You show. So check it out, go ahead and RSVP, and if you haven't already, we have a Patreon, and we're excited to be able to have, we're going to be doing more like hangouts. We might have some special guests, and you guys will get early access to everything we're releasing. So definitely come over to Patreon. There's several different tiers that you can choose from, and we look forward to seeing you there. Until next time, guys, everyone enjoy, and we hope you're listening to lots of great music in the meantime. Bye, guys.